Okay, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And welcome to the first day of summer at 10:27 a.m. today, actually, is when it starts. So it's a beautiful day out. Thank you all. We will start our meeting with a moment of silence and pledge allegiance to the flag. And now our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Okay, at this time, we would like to recess the meeting and have for our public hearing today on the 2023 Community Development Block Grant Program. And we have Ms. Martha Robbins with us right now to give that presentation. Sir, would you like to come in? You're welcome.
Could you start with the Boy Scout law? No?
Morning. Good morning. My name is Martha Robbins, and I'm the Executive Director of the Monroe County Redevelopment Authority. And our agency is designated as the county's Community Development Block Grant Program Administrator. This morning, I am going to provide an overview of the Community Development Block Grant Program, which I'll refer to as the CDBG. The county, along with East Stroudsburg and Stroudsburg Borough, will begin their grant planning and the application process for the federal fiscal year 2023 CDBG program. There will be one deadline. The application submission deadline date set by DCD is October 27, 2023. Pursuant to the County Citizen Participation Plan, this is the first public hearing that is required during this process. This public hearing is to provide citizens with information about the CDBG program, its eligible activities, program requirements, and expected funding allocations. And that providing notification of this public hearing was published in the Pocono Record on May 30th, 2023, and also posted on the county's East Stroudsburg and Stroudsburg websites as well. The County of Monroe will hold the second public hearing for all communities that will identify the activities proposed to be undertaken with the CDBG funds on October 4th, 2023. The fiscal year 2023 CDBG allocation for Monroe County is $401,473, an increase of $280 compared to 2022 CDBG allocation. CDBG is a federally enacted program adopted by the U.S. government in 1974. The program is administered through the Department of Housing and Urban Development, known as HUD. HUD distributes funding to the Commonwealth of PA. In 1984, the Commonwealth enacted Act 179, which created a system by which CDBG program funds would be distributed in the Commonwealth. Distribution occurs through three categories: state administration, competitive application, and direct entitlement allocation. In Monroe County, three government entities receive direct entitlement allocations. Those include Monroe County, the Borough of East Stroudsburg, and the Borough of Stroudsburg. So basically, the CDBG program is the longest running program by HUD and remains a principal source of federal funding to state and local governments, including counties, in assisting low and moderate. Each project activity must meet one of three federally mandated national objectives set by HUD: benefit to low and moderate income persons, prevention or elimination of blight, and urgent need. Grantees must be able to show that every CDBG funded activity fits into one of these categories. By regulation, at least 70% of funds must be allocated to programs benefiting low, moderate income persons annually. Historically, the CDBG program in Monroe County has served 100% low to moderate income persons. Eligible activities. CDBG can support a variety of project types. Most activities that benefit low and moderate income individuals and meet the needs of the community are eligible. However, the regulations make the funding complicated to use. 4 primary funding categories: public service, public facility or infrastructure improvements, economic development, and housing. Some examples of public service activities: job training, childcare, health services, senior services, after-school programs, homeless services, domestic violence prevention, legal services, housing counseling, and food banks. Public facilities improvements, some activities that are eligible, and basically the 2 boroughs use street and road improvements. Economic development, eligible activities include technical assistance programs and workshops for small businesses, grant program for small businesses. Housing activities eligible include housing rehabilitation programs, energy efficiency, weatherization programs, acquisition, and site improvements for housing. Under the housing category, the most common CDBG funded activity for the county is owner-occupied housing rehabilitation. For decades, the County of Monroe has provided CDBG funds to their housing rehabilitation program, which is administered by the authority. The program brings properties up to local codes, maintains health and safety, do lead-based paint testing, as well as radon testing, and support energy efficiency. In the past 10 years, the CDBG funds, plus some blending of other funds such as RDS, their funding, have assisted approximately 325 low moderate income households. Our goal for 2023 is 24 units. Currently, there are 180 interested applicants on our list, which is a first come, first served process. Low and moderate income, which is also referred as LMI, means a family or a household with annual income less than 80% of the area median income. Monroe County's median income for a family of 4 is $100,000. The authority is responsible for monitoring all grant compliance with fair housing, procurement, equal opportunities, Section 504, labor standards, environmental standards, and testing such as lead and radon, which is required for the owner-occupied housing rehab program. As mentioned earlier, 2023 CDBG allocation for Monroe County is $401,470. As mentioned earlier, today's public hearing is the first of 2 hearings that is required to seek input from citizens. The county has to hold 2 public hearings to be eligible for program funding. The second public hearing is set for October 4th, 2023. At this time, the commissioners will share the proposed projects and approve the 2023 CDBG application and authorize its submission to DCED by resolution. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner Ford, do you have any questions?
You did go through it more. The county has used this portion over the past, at least since I've been here, for housing rehab. You said your goal this coming year is 24 units. What's the waiting list? About 180 right now?
Mm-hmm.
And the houses that you're working to rehabilitate now applied for these funds how long ago?
Probably about 68 months ago.
Okay. What's the primary deterrent in getting these houses done? Is it the lack of money or lack of talent?
Lack of contractors.
That's what I meant by
Yes,
talent. That's
yes.
what I wanted you to expand on a little bit.
Yes, both programs are suffering from that. Our weatherization program, we have one subcontractor working with us, but we could definitely use additional subs just so that we can expend the money and get more homes done.
So it's one of those rare programs that money's always an object, but it's not the major problem in getting this stuff done. It's the availability of housing contractors who are capable of completing the work. And the boroughs historically have used theirs for
Street and road improvements.
Is
Which we
there
continue to do.
something in Stroudsburg now that's going on that's,
Yes, they're going to be utilizing their 2021 CDBG funds on 7th Street.
It's a public hearing, so if anybody has any questions for Martha.
Do you need a resolution now?
A second.
Second hearing?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And you have to be excused to go to another meeting, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. We now move into, this is where
Convene,
go back into the meeting, and then we have to,
recess, and
Yeah.
convene for the
Close
corrections to
and-
duplicate.
yes, with the
Close.
reopen,
Recess.
recess the meeting to go into the corrections for the duplicate with Cindy Tribal, our chief assessor. It's a little confusing.
We have additions of 0, subtractions of 1,164,860. And they are due to 2 court orders for appeal cases that we had. One was McDonald's and one was Dollar General.
That's it? Oh,
Cindy, periodically, I ask you to explain what the corrections to duplicate is, because people sitting here say, I wonder what that is, and, here's your opportunity.
So every year, the commissioners and all the taxing bodies are given a certification, November of each year. So November of 22, you were given a certification number so that you could figure out your budget. And these are assessments that are coming off of those figures. So they will actually get less money because it's coming off their total assessment that they used to create their budget.
So in November, we get together, or they get together and tell us the total value of all real estate in Monroe County is, I'm just picking a number, $50 billion. So we say, okay, that's divvied up between the various municipalities, school districts, et cetera. And that is the number on which our budget is set. However, periodically, there are things that come off that figure that reduce the overall assessed value. And there are things that can go on it through what?
Additions, interim, most of the time it's interim. So new buildings, new construction, it's put on monthly, gets added on. But it doesn't go on the corrections to the duplicate because it's only for a prorated amount of the year. Sometimes there are things like court cases where school districts took court cases and the assessment may go up on a property. Most times when the school district does take a court case, the assessment goes up. So sometimes we will actually have an addition of $1 million or $2 million. Hasn't lately, but we haven't lately, but
We like additions, we don't care for subtractions.
Subtractions, right,
But
yeah.
fortunately, the interim, generally, and Cindy corrects me every time I say this, but generally, the interim assessments are much greater than the corrections to the duplicate that takes value off of the rolls.
that is
But
correct.
she's correct in pointing out that an interim might only be for a 6-month period of time or a 3-month period of time. So it's hard to equate the two.
Yes, and it's not part of the corrections to the duplicate because they weren't part of it to begin with. Although this year so far, we've picked up 82 million in interim.
And they're done twice a year.
The bills go out twice a year, but they're done monthly.
The
So
interims
they're
are picked up
prorated
every
on a
month.
And they're
monthly.
just now.
Yeah, because the bills are July 1st for the interim.
I move that we correct or accept the corrections to the duplicate in the amount of a net negative $1,164,850. 60, yeah, picked up $10 right there. $60.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Time.
Opposed? Okay.
You recess.
I have to recess or close that.
Reconvene.
Reconvene, now I have to
regular-
reconvene our meeting, a little different today. And we are honored today to have Michael Rodriguez with us. Sometimes we as county commissioners are honored to be able to go to our Eagle Scout Award presentations when they have their formal presentations. And sometimes our schedules just don't make it for the young men and young ladies, depending on what their awards are. But, so I'm really pleased that you were able to come back to us today. Do you want to, typically we take a minute or two just to talk a little bit about what your Eagle Scout project was? Yeah, you just, I should have, you want to face the group here. I should have warned you on that.
Okay, so my Eagle Scout project was helping build like a pergola over just in a senior citizen area. Because during the summer, we know it gets really hot. Some of the senior citizens want to walk around, rest a bit, enjoy the weather. But without any kind of shade or protection, sunburns, either they get too hot, they stay inside not enjoying the day. So I went in, bought a pergola kit, built it up from basically scratch, cemented the area, cemented the footers. There was 3 picnic tables that we refurbished to give them some seating areas in case they wanted extra. And that was really it. Took a while, but got there in the end.
Which, was that at a facility, a senior citizen facility, or where was it
It
located?
was Pocono Services for Families and Children
Oh,
down
up
by
at-
611.
Oh, okay. Up in Toby,
Yeah, Tobiana.
Tobyhanna,
Yep.
okay. That's the Mountain Center.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that was at the Mountain Center, so thank you for that. So, Don, you want to stand up with me? It's my honor for the Eagle Scout, and here's his presentation to present this Michael Rodriguez. Now, it says June 4th, because that's when your official Eagle Scout Award took place. But today, on the 21st of June, here we are with you today. Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations. I didn't want to stand up, but I did have a couple of questions for you. I attended a service last night, and it's the first time I've seen them give out the Golden Foot Award. Have you ever, the Golden Foot Award was given to this scout's mom. Can you imagine what the foot was for? I just wonder, how much did your mom use gentle persuasion to get you to move along?
That would have gone to my dad.
I watched your dad smile immediately when that was brought up, but, and lots of times we don't have the opportunity, not only your parents, but your fellow scouts that help you as well with these projects too. So it becomes a community kind of affair. Okay.
Michael, I applaud your efforts because when I do these presentations, I help people that, at the ripe old age that I'm at now, I look back at my scouting, I stopped when I was a Star Scout. And I keep thinking, why didn't I go the extra mile, 5 miles, 10 miles to do what you've done? So I congratulate you wholeheartedly. What are your plans for the future?
Right now, I go to college, get a mechanical engineering degree.
Wow, have you picked a college yet or you're not to
Penn
that?
State.
Penn State? We are. Congratulations.
Okay, moving on to our agenda today. Our next on the agenda is our public comment, agenda items only. Any comment? Thank you, folks. Have a great day. Okay, seeing no public comment at this point, move on to old business. Do we hear a motion to approve old business from 6/7/2023 Commissioners meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We have a new young man here. Do I hear a motion to approve the proclamation and certificate for Brian O'Neill for Eagle Scout Award?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Any discussion or questions?
He, by the way, is the one whose mother got the Golden Foot Award.
Oh, was that last night?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to new business. Personnel, number 1. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 1, personnel, items A and B?
So moved.
And I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 2, motion to approve the actions listed in number 2, electronic financial transactions, ratify, items A, B, and C.
So moved.
And second, any discussions or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item number 3, travel authorizations, approve and ratify. Do I hear a motion to approve and ratify the actions listed in number 3, item A, and C, items A?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Any discussions or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 4, Monroe County Children and Youth Services. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 4, items A, B, C, and D?
So moved.
And I will second that. Any discussions or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Moving on to number 5, the Commissioner's Office. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 5, items A through I?
So moved.
And I will second that. Any discussion? Clarification? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Number 6, capital outlay purchases. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 6, item A?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it. Any discussion? Questions? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And number 7, computer capital purchases. Do I hear a motion to approve the actions listed in number 7, item A?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Moving on to miscellaneous. I just have a few, want to bring your attention, miscellaneous. And I do have handouts if anyone would like those as well. I do serve on the Conservation Board for the county, and there's a lot of really great summer stuff going on right now with school, just getting out, and there's opportunities for families and children, and I have the Conservation District Camp opportunities here. We have Conservation Camp from July 15th to the 22nd. There's still openings available, and then this handout, and we will post all these things on our website as well. Just gives the whole summer opportunities, bog walks, whatever the different things that the Conservation District has for our community are all listed right there. Okay.
Sharon, what are the ages for conservation camp? Does it say?
Yes, ages 14 through high school graduates. So it's a little bit more intense, and it's more of an it's a very educational piece, but yet lots of learning experiences and fun. There's other opportunities for other camps, for day camps for younger students as well. Okay, any public comment of items not on the agenda? Yes, sir? Could you just identify who you are, please?
Don Kubik from the jail, corrections officer. I'm gonna hand you guys these first, so you guys have them, so again, I know you guys get these things because I don't get responses. These are complaints into what I believe to be election interference, retaliation, harassment, racist conduct by a supervisor at the correctional facility, I've asked for investigations into these issues. So that's those complaints. Real quick, I want to touch base. A month ago, I participated in the meeting via video, and I was inquiring about, is there any movement on anything specific with the jail to get the staffing numbers up? And I was told that there's a new HR position that's going to be hired that's going to be in charge of recruitment. That's down the pipeline. That's going to take a while. I was told things will be looked into, as always. I know a prison board meeting happened after that meeting that I was participating in. Did anything come of that prison board meeting with the attempts to get the staffing numbers up at the jail? Other than we're just continuing down the same path. We're 3 years later here, and 3 years later, our staffing numbers are still 100 officers. Nothing has changed.
Nothing now. You want to comment?
Well, when you say nothing's happening, there's a class that just took over responsibilities, and there's a class scheduled.
Which put us at 104, I believe, maybe. I could be off by a couple because I don't feel too well this morning. I couldn't find my stuff.
And our HR department here also is working on that with getting the information out.
So I'm asking 3 years now, we're doing the same hiring process, and the staffing number has not gone above 105 in 3 years. It's supposed to be 122. We cannot get headway. We're hiring people. We're not keeping people. Again, I forgot some stuff. I can tell you we probably hired 80 officers in the last 3 years. And that was starting at 100. So we should be at 180 realistically. The problem is we're not keeping people. Recruiting is not necessarily a problem. Keeping people is a big part of the problem we have. And that is because of the overtime, because of how we're being mandated so much, because of the conditions that I'm reporting these complaints of the administration, how they handle themselves, and how officers are treated. That's the problem, is we can't keep people. So things need to be looked at specifically to the prison. The work conditions are unsafe. We've been saying that for 3 years. Somebody's going to die in that jail. It's not safe. And I'm sitting here hearing the same answers that we're going to try to hire people. So that issue's dead in the water. I'm just making it known that I'm still complaining about the safety. Going back to your commissioner meeting, I see there's a line item in there for a budget adjustment, Wind Gap Electric for additional cameras and functionality. You guys come to the prison every week, almost every week for the inspection. Our cameras are still trash at that prison, and it's a safety issue. Our main gate camera, the front gate camera, the entrance in and out of that facility, still to this day is not operational. It's been well over a year. I work central control. I cannot see who's coming in and who's going out of that facility. So if we're spending $200,000 as an additional line item to Wind Gap Electric to get cameras and additional functionality, why is this not an instantaneous, get somebody out there, get that camera fixed? Because we had an officer attacked and assaulted at that front gate. Maybe 2 weeks ago, Garcia was punched in his face by an inmate on the way out of the jail. He was all by himself at that front gate, fighting with an inmate being assaulted and attacked. The people in central control cannot see him. Luckily, he was able to get to his radio and call for rovers to run out of the jail to save him. If he wasn't able to get to the radio, that man is by himself with no help because central control cannot see him. This camera needs to be fixed immediately. Why is that not an issue? And it's been brought up before. It's been sent to you guys in emails. It's been brought up in this meeting. I can show you the dates and times and clips of when I brought it up.
There has been money allocated to repair the camera, not just that camera, but the other outdated cameras at the jail. So that should be happening.
I heard that months ago. I can show
Well,
you
wait,
Commissioner.
we're
You're hearing it again now.
That's right, and we're moving forward with it. Absolutely. Thank you for your time. I appreciate that.
So
They-
going forward with that complaint, I would like to raise light to the fact that these complaints are being blown off and brushed off. Because the complaints that I filed specifically complain against the administration for not managing the prison safely, mismanaging the prison, targeting specific people, harassing specific people, and yet they're being put in charge of investigating the complaints. How does that work? That doesn't make any sense logically. We have a supervisor out there who I filed a complaint against for making racist comments, talking about he can't effing stand white kids. That would be Sergeant Greg Armand.
I have time out. Okay. First of all, I have to clarify. I appreciate, we respect the fact that you're here and sharing information with us. However, Any specific names are not allowed in public meetings, and I'm going to stop you right at this point because that must be followed. No, it must be followed because it's very, that's just the way HR and the way, excuse me, you're done. I respect the fact that you're here, but you must understand we have to follow that respectful way that we're handling the situations, okay?
Where do I go?
Right, where do you go from here?
Because I filed it with the head of
That's,
HR, and she forwarded it back to the people that are conducting themselves this way.
correct.
I filed a complaint a month ago
The,
about threats of violence being stuffed in my locker at work, and nobody's even spoken to me about it yet.
time out, because these things are being handled.
They're not. I'll show
Yeah,
you
time out.
responses.
That's it. Okay, this is all
Mr.
HR
Kubik,
situation.
HR has been out there to investigate.
Yes,
HR spoke to the 3 people that are named in the complaint. That's the only
Listen.
people they spoke to. They didn't speak to the officers. They spoke to the people that the complaint were filed against. And then they said, guess what? Your complaint is unfounded. How does that work?
This is
If I
HR
file a
solution,
complaint
not
against
business.
Mr. Moyer, and Mr. Moyer is the only person that is spoken to, how is that a fair and impartial investigation? It's not. It's a cover-up. It's a hiding. It's not doing a fair and impartial investigation. The policies and procedures of that facility in this county apply to all employees, not just the officers, everybody. But it's being swept under the rug. You cannot put the person who is in the complaint in charge of the investigation. It doesn't make any sense. So where do I go from here? Because the problem-solving policy for the county is you guys are the last step, and I'm here, and I'm being told I'm being shut down. Where do I go from here?
continue with what? Continue following the process.
I am at the end of the
I
process.
am-
What are we not understanding?
I do. Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else, John?
Nope,
Okay. All right, let's see what else.
move we adjourn.
Okay. The meeting is,
Oh, you people didn't get a chance to.
any other public comment? Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to second the motion. I'm also an officer at the jail. I've been there for 7 years.
How long? How long?
7.
7,
7
okay.
years. And it is an extremely unsafe environment where it's literally put to work in situations that just, if your children are working at the jail, you would tell them to quit. Like, I was an officer, I was pregnant, I got assaulted, I lost my child, and it was just dismissed. Like, you are expected to perform at your work duties, no matter where you are in your life. Pregnant, not pregnant, 8 months, 7 weeks, doesn't matter. It's just unfair. It really is.
Thank you for that information. The only thing I would like to add to the comments, and then we're going to close down at this particular point, is as board members, we are able to read any exit information that goes out from those COs that don't want to be there. And it's not because, it's just that there's other issues that are occurred as well. I'm not going to go into specific issues because I can't, but it's just not exactly everything you're talking about either. So that's what's important.
So that blows off. the
That's
safety
what-
issues.
That's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. That's your response to a woman who lost her child.
No,
after being
it's
assaulted.
not.
That was your response, the exit interviews.
No, it's not.
That was your
My
response.
You know, it's not about, I appreciate that this,
Something should
thank
take
you
us a
for,
problem out there
thank you
when
for coming.
we can't even hire a
But that's
sergeant
it.
from within
That's the
facility.
time. That's the time.
Yeah, there it is.
I appreciate that. I would just like to know, like, if there's gonna be some progression in this county for protection of their employees. Like, no female officer should have to choose between having a career and having a family. No male officer has to do that. He can go to work and not have to worry about that. To
Mhm.
plan with his wife when to have a family. A female officer cannot do that. Like I said, we're expected to do the same kind of work in the same kind of conditions. We're working hand in hand with the inmates, physical combat, all of that. So it's just, I understand Kubik's frustration because he's been going back and forth about this for years, but it's just like, we feel just very unheard when it's just, we keep coming to these meetings and nothing is progressing. Like, there's been no change at the jail when it comes to officer safety at all, whether it's internally, HR, from the commissioner, in no way. So it's kind of feeling very repetitive on our side too. You know, we don't want to keep coming here and arguing over the same points because that's draining. You know, we're not getting anywhere. So I think what we really want to hear is what is the solution? As I would like to assume, like parents, what would you like for your child to be working in this jail? What kind of conditions would you like them to work on there? It's very it's crazy.
Is there anything? No. Well, appreciate your information. And to be
One last comment. Sorry,
to be continued.
not to cut you off, but I know I did a tour with you at the jail before, and I showed you working on a 3 units. I'm working 3 units, 1 officer, and I'm showing you the cameras where I cannot see inmates at all. I don't know what's happening, and if something were to happen to any of those inmates, I would be held responsible. So how is that fair for me to have to be worried about protecting myself, protecting 70 other people because I can't see them?
No. That's why it's on the agenda to fix those cameras.
I just hope that it works
Yeah.
out. I hope whenever I am able to go back to the jail and I'm able to fully defend myself again, that I do see some change. I will honestly say I don't feel like I will. But I hope
Can I just
do.
ask
Well,
where
it's-
it's on the agenda to fix that so I can show people the jail? Where is it on the agenda to fix the cameras at the correctional facility so I can show people?
But
Not on the
it's
agenda.
not on.
That's what
Oh,
Abigail
excuse
just
me,
said.
there
She
was
just
money
replied that it's
allocated
on the
to-
agenda.
Cameras.
She means the informal agenda. It's in the plan.
It's in the plan,
It's
yeah.
been in plan. That tour that she gave you on that unit was probably well over a year ago.
Excuse
Pointing
me.
out the cameras, working a 2-person post as 1 person, we do it all the time. It's against policy, it's against the rules, it's against the regulations. I get suspended because my beard is too long, a safety issue. This gets me suspended. That's retaliation because of all the stuff I'm doing here. Because you guys, the administration doesn't like it. This is a safety issue. Her working a 2-man post by herself with no cameras doesn't constitute immediate action, but this gets me suspended.
Mr. Kubik,
It's ridiculous.
thank you.
You guys should be
You're done.
ashamed of yourselves.
You're done. Thank you.
I'm not done. I'll be done when I'm done.
No, right now you are. I understand.
I'd like to just go back to the camera issue again. I've also been there 7 years, and there's cameras at the jail that's been out since I started there. We're in a unit where it's 1 of us to 64 inmates. One of us could get dragged into the closet, and no one will know basically till shift change, unless another officer comes to your unit. It's just a major issue for everyone in the facility, officers, inmates, any counselors, medical staff. There's so many cameras that was just not visible. And for someone to be walking the building every day, you're working 10 hours to 18 hours, and you have no idea if you're gonna be safe at any point.
Mhm.
Even if someone is working one of the bubbles to maybe to assist you to see it, you can't see it because the camera to the unit that you're on is down.
And even the day that I was assaulted, I was working a 2-man post by myself, and an inmate was misplaced due to improper management and this doesn't come from the officers. We have no control of where inmates are supposed to be housed or what units they're supposed to be housed, and that comes from the deputy warden. So if you have an inmate that is known to be violent, this person should not be living in an area where it's open. They're not in a cell. She's out in the open and exposed to everybody. That creates a lot of unnecessary, unsafe situations for everyone, not just myself, but you guys too, when you come on to do the tour. I mean, you're only but so lucky because I'm sure if you went to the jail during that time that you passed by this inmate as well, who was not arrogant. Me and her had no kind of interaction before she assaulted me. So therefore, it's just tiring. Nobody wants to go back home to their family and say, they're working on us being safe. Our families don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. My children don't want to hear that.
Do you hear a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Thank you.